Hi!
I'm Jen.
I'm Corey.
And we are
Deep,
Dark,
and Scary.
Welcome back to our channel if you've been here before. Welcome to our channel if you're new. Please like and subscribe and
Smash the bell!
We are reviewing another movie for our cult movie challenge, right? Is that what it's
Cult
called?
Movie Challenge 2021.
Yeah.
No. So this...
Just to preface, I can't talk today.
Just for breakfast.
Corey picked this movie.
It was my week. This is turning into slowly being a torture the other person.
It really
Because
is.
I was interested in this movie.
I literally fell asleep.
We just finished it.
Had to rewatch part of it. But that's all right.
So this week was Look to the Skies week, which is 1950 to 1962 sci-fi movies.
Aliens, creatures.
There were some creature movies, like Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think there was some, like...
was this the
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Attack of the 50-Foot Woman? Wasn't that one?
I think that was one of them, so yeah.
So there's some off-the-wall, just some sci-fi stuff. And
Jen and I are both big Rocky Horror Picture Show fans. And double feature, there's a lot of sci-fi movies listed in that song. So I wanted to pick one of the movies that was in that song. So I picked Forbidden Planet. And that was what we watched.
I'm so sad. I will never get that hour and 58 minutes back ever again.
So, this movie had Leslie Nielsen in it.
It did. Very, very young, very good looking Leslie Nielsen.
He was a handsome, dapper young man.
He was pretty good looking back then.
He wasn't as funny as he was in all the movies
serious.
I know him.
He was very serious in this movie.
Yes.
And which obviously, because the movie is a little more on the serious side, it's comical now. I'm sure it was a little scary back when it was made, but
so this movie had a budget. This floored me. The budget for this movie was $1.968 million in 1956. Yes.
March 3rd, 1956.
So it was probably filmed in 55. Of course, movies back then they do in like a week or a month. They did not have big multi-year recording schedules back then. In the box office has brought in $2.7 million. So
not even double the budget.
Right. But it made its money back at least.
Right.
Not enough for a sequel.
That's true.
But
I told Corey most of the budget probably went to Leslie Nielsen to pay him to be in it because it was a little rough. But
this movie featured Robbie the Robot.
And they make a big deal out of it
in the opening
beginning
credits
of the movie.
Yeah.
Featuring Robbie the Robot.
Yes. Robbie the Robot. Very lame robot. But he can make some whiskey. 60 gallons.
Kentucky bourbon.
Kentucky bourbon. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, whiskey.
Just saying what the chef said.
Yeah. So this movie...
Kentucky bourbon.
This movie starts out with... I guess just to let you know, we are going to spoil this whole fucking movie.
Basically the entire movie. You'll know it.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to go watch it and waste your time. We'll try to sum it up in about 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, and this,
so you don't have to waste your 2 hours.
Yeah, we're going to be able to summarize this one
pretty quickly. Leslie Nielsen's, what is he, like,
He's
captain?
Commander Adams on the spaceship C-57D, traveling to this planet to... Well, I think they were traveling to another planet, but they were going to make a pit stop here or something.
They found there was a signal, remember?
Oh, yeah. They came out of light speed.
Signal from this other planet, so they went there instead.
And this doctor comes on the comms, and he's speaking in English, and they're like, oh, someone in English. And he's telling them, basically, don't come to this planet. I can't guarantee your safety. And they're like, we need to come down there and check. And he's like, yeah, whatever. But I'm telling you, don't fucking come here.
Basically, you're speaking English, we have to come check on you because you're human.
So they land. They get off the ship. They're like, we don't need our helmets or whatever. Like we can breathe down there. They step off this planet. It's got a green sky. And this dust storm comes like blowing across, and they're like, wow, that thing's hauling some ass. And it ends up being this robot in a cart.
Robbie the robot.
The robot's driving
this
cart.
Little cart around, and he's like, let me take you to the home or the dwelling or whatever he says.
Yeah, so the
commander and two others get in there.
Yeah, this doctor and this other guy, I guess his skipper or whatever, they go and they go to check it out, and Morbius comes out, and he just doesn't act like anything, like he had told him, don't land on our frickin' planet. I can't guarantee your safety. And then he's all like, oh, come in.
Would you like some coffee? And meet my daughter.
Oh, the daughter doesn't even show up yet. He's like talking to him about all this other shit, showing him these blinds that he has and the robot, and then the daughter comes down. And then she's never seen another human other than her dad.
And all the guys are infatuated because the whole spaceship they are on is all men.
Sausage fest. Total sausage fest.
They're like, ooh, boobs.
She's
Let's
like,
go.
I like the one there, but the two on the end are really nice to look at. And the skipper tries to get her aside, and he's like, hey, you want to
let me show you what a kiss is.
Oh yeah, he's like telling her oh, you don't want to talk to the doctor over there. He's like in 50's terminology, he's like, he likes to have his way with the girls, and she's like in a roundabout way, like mean? maybe I want that, and he's like, well, I'm not saying I'm not like that. And, like a bunch of horny guys on this ship.
Well, she's not much better. She ends up kissing or making out with at least 3 or 4 of them. 2. No, because the skipper, the chef, she kissed the chef.
I don't think she met the chef. I think the captain finds her with the skipper later on after they get back. She comes around and he's like, oh, well, we should kiss. And she's like, what's that? And he shows her how to kiss, and she's like, I didn't feel anything. And he's like, he gets all frustrated, and he's like, well, let's try again. And then she's like, And then she's like, well, maybe one more time. And he grabs her and
plants one on her.
Yeah, and then the captain gets super jealous. And then something ends up, then the chef is an alcoholic, and he's running low on whiskey, and the robot's like, I'll make, I can make some for you, and he pours it in his belly, and the chef's pissed off,
that was the last
of it. Last of my hooch, and he's like, how much is sufficient? 60 gallons, and the chef's like, what? I can have 60 gallons? So the robot can make it, as long as it can have a sample of it, it can make as much as he wants. And then I don't know. Then it's a lot of boring talking in this movie.
So I fell asleep right after Robbie the robot and the chef were back and forth about
cooking some prison hooch,
bourbon, whatever, and the chef's all mad. And when I woke up this morning, Corey's like, you fell asleep, I had to turn it off. And I'm like, that was the most boring movie I've ever seen.
You did not have to do that.
Yeah, you could have just kept watching because I could not keep my eyes open. And literally it was 7:30. So it's not like it was 10 o'clock at night. Granted, I was exhausted. I've been on 2 trips for work this week and whatever, but it was still a really boring movie. But they find out that the original people that lived on this planet were super smart and had figured out how basically to do anything they wanted with their mind. Like they didn't need tools, they didn't need anything. They figured out how to do it with their mind. And this Morpheus that's living there, Morbius, whatever his name
Dr.
is.
Morbius, yeah.
Yeah. He takes the commander and his skipper, shows them what's left from the previous...
the doctor. He takes it as... Well, the skipper got killed.
Oh, yeah, the skipper got killed.
Yeah.
By an invisible thing.
Beast. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're in there, like, Morbius is showing them around all this ancient, supposedly 2 million year old stuff that looks brand spanking new. And this little headpiece, like, on X-Men. That's what it reminded me of on X-Men when, what's his face puts the helmet on.
Oh, Dr. X, yeah.
Yeah, and so Morbius walks up and he puts this and he's like, see, I can make a girl in this little thing, a 3D image of his daughter just by using his mind and this metal thing on his head. So they're like, wow, that's amazing. We want to do that. But they end up leaving because Morbius is telling them it'll kill you if you try to do it. Mm-hmm. So they end up leaving, and then there's this big fight with this invisible monster.
Oh, yeah, they set up some guns, and because the first one, it
got through.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had this, like, electric fence thing.
An invisible fence.
Yeah, that the monster got through the first time and killed the skipper, right?
Yeah, that's when it killed the skipper, yeah.
So they set up these humongous guns that Morbius helped them build and gave them the equipment to build these things. And they shot at it, and you see the outline of this, basically a ginormous lion.
It looked like something out of He-Man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And it was cartoon drawn, too.
Yeah.
It was pretty legit.
Weird. But
for the time, it was a pretty legit special effects.
But it ended up killing 3 more their men from the spaceship, and Morbius is like, see, I told you this was going to happen. I warned you, blah, blah, blah. And they go back in because they want to use the headset to figure out what's going on this planet. And that's when the commander's busy canoodling with the daughter.
Oh,
and the doctor runs in and uses the headset.
Then the commander had told him before they go in, like, hey, I'm using this.
You let me do it.
You let me do it first. And then he goes in, and the daughter helps him get in around the robot. And the captain pulls her aside, and they're, like, making out and talking about how they're going to leave together and stuff. And the doctor, like, makes a beeline
to the back. And he did. He put it on, and then all of a sudden you see Robbie the robot carrying him out.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much on the verge of death. Lays him on the couch, and that's when he basically is like, "Oh yeah, these people were smart, but they didn't think about the id, the monsters in the id." Which, if anybody's taken any psych classes, the id is part of psychology. It's kind of your subconscious mind. And the things we dream and think about subconsciously. And so...
I think of the Wizard of Id.
Yeah.
The little
there you go.
cartoon strip.
Yeah. So, basically, at this point in the movie, which is the very end almost, they figure out, oh, Morbius, this monster is from your mind. It's your alter ego, basically, that's killing these people because you hooked up to this machine thing. And now your mind is creating this.
And they wanted to take him back. They wanted for the interplanetary...
Yeah, to study, basically.
They wanted to bring a team back to study this technology. And he wanted it all for himself. And once he knew that they were going to try to take him back and they were going to run rampant through there...
He pretty much sacrificed himself to his own monster so he wouldn't
Yeah.
the monster wouldn't be around and he wouldn't be around to be taken back and be made a lab rat. So then the daughter and commander leave. And the end, they show the planet like light up. They blow it up.
He tells him you got to be like 1,000,000 miles away or something like that, and something like so that the gamma rays or whatever don't hurt you. And they're watching, and then he starts counting down like he knows.
He's like 3, 2, 1,
and then you see this bright light flash in the sky.
And
or in the space.
And she's like clinging to him like she's so sad. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was...
And then that was the end. Then the credits rolled. Oh, and they did bring Robbie the robot with them. So I think he shows up in another couple movies.
Maybe.
In the Cult Classic Challenge. I'm almost positive. But, yeah, so they have Robbie the robot and the daughter on the ship, and then the credits roll. Literally the entire movie.
Yeah, this...
But you could already... So, I could tell at the beginning, when the daughter first came out, and Morbius is like, introduce them to your friends. And she walks outside, and her 3 friends are 2 deer and a tiger. And I was like, well, that somebody is creating that, because that landscape, obviously, these animals are not going to survive. And they just appear out of nowhere.
Well, he said that the people who came
nice to him.
Yeah, the people who came before like brought him from Earth or something, but that was like
no, but you could tell
20 years ago. They wouldn't be like young deer like they were.
And he kept saying from the beginning through the entire movie, both of them, really, him and his daughter, were like, we're immune to whatever's killing. Because supposedly this monster had killed off everyone. The prior beings and their ship, and like this hidden monster has killed everyone. And my daughter, myself, and my wife, because he was previously married and she passed away, natural causes, he says. But they were all immune from this monster. Well, it's because he was creating it. He's not going to let anything happen to his daughter, right?
Or his wife.
Or his wife, for that matter. So, it's one of those you can read really quick, and it, to me, was not entertaining.
This could have easily be done in an hour or an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, easily an hour movie. And I see that there was a canceled remake of this movie. So, yeah.
I could imagine the updates they could do with technology and everything now probably being pretty kind of cool. But the storyline needs some work. And in order to remake, you have to rewrite almost the whole thing.
And
really.
I could see like a Pitch Black style... or maybe something like it. They've done so much with sci-fi now that I think it could be done better with a bigger budget. But yeah, this is
definitely not one of the better ones.
I like the movie. I wish Leslie Nielsen would have had some little quips or something. Like I was waiting for.
So serious through the
I am
whole
serious,
thing,
and don't
right?
call me Shirley.
Yeah.
I was waiting for something, but
yeah, it wasn't there. I would definitely give it a thumbs down. Corey's like, you know.
It was right there in the middle. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
And in order for us to watch this one, it's not readily available, obviously. So we had the choice. We could rent it or we could purchase it. And it was literally a $5 difference. So I told Corey, I always take into consideration, would I watch it again? I'll buy it. We rented it because I'm like, I'm not so sure.
And I told her with as old as the movie was and not have seen it, I wasn't gonna spend the $7.99 to rent or to buy it.
But
I wasn't
for a movie to sit in our collection and us never watch again. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, so
I could go get a Starbucks coffee for that. I'm just saying.
So $2.99 on Amazon Prime if you're that interested and you're really into 50s sci-fi.
Right. And if you haven't already seen it, because obviously if you're into 50s sci-fi, you've probably already seen it. And let us know down below what you thought of it. I'm really curious to find those that have made this a cult classic, because there has to be something in there that makes it a cult classic, just like Rocky Horror. For me, it's the iconic people that were in it and the actors. And
Rocky Horror had a
the
huge
songs
second life.
and yeah, absolutely. But there's got to be a reason, right? So I would love to know what that is. If any of you are part of that following, let me know down below.
Definitely. Or if there's something you would have recommended, I'll put a link to this specific list. And if there's another sci-fi movie on that list that you think would have been better. Last year for this challenge, I watched Bride of the Monster with Bela Lugosi. Oh, yeah. And I believe it was an Ed Wood movie because it had Tor Johnson in it. And it was horrible. I couldn't even get... And I love Plan 9, and I could not get through Bride of the Monster. So... Bride of the Monster is out if you see that movie on there. And Plan 9 is out because I know Plan 9 is on there. Jen hasn't seen it, but I have. No. So maybe I'll make her watch it.
Most of these movies I have not seen because I'm not huge into sci-fi. I love horror genre. I love comedies. I love kind of off-the-wall psychological thrillers. But sci-fi is really hard for me to get into, especially this older stuff, unless it's a little more comedic. This was just really serious. There was no joking by anyone. There was not even like little anything.
Puns or anything,
quips,
yeah.
Puns, nothing that I could be like, that's kind of funny. You know, there was none of that.
So that was a little reverse the polarity. Yeah, like there was a lot.
Yeah, there was nothing.
There was a lot of scientific jargon. So, yeah, like, I'll link it down below. Let us know if there's anything. Maybe I'll have her watch the Ed Wood movie with Johnny Depp before watching Plan 9, just to get a little bit of Ed Wood background.
I'd be okay with that. Do you know what the genre is for next week?
Let me look here.
I'm really kind of curious to what I get to choose from, because these first three, right? 3 or 4. Are we on number 4 already?
This is number 3.
Yeah. So these first 3 have been kind of off the wall for us. Very different. So
next week is Jesus Franco week. Bram Stoker's Count Dracula.
Ooh.
Is that?
Woo-hoo.
That's 1970.
Oh my goodness. I'm kind of excited.
Oh, that's the one with Christopher Lee in it.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited. Oh, lots of vampires, some zombies. Oh, I am down.
Yeah. Oh, the Castle of Fu Manchu. Yeah, so this is going to be a lot of horror in this one. Yeah. Sadomania. That might be a little too X-rated.
Too many boobs in that one.
Sadist erotica.
Oh my gosh. All right, that's enough. Quit looking. Golly. Yeah, the whole bottom half of this is all adult films.
2 female spies with flowered babies. Okay, so this is...
All right.
There's a little bit of everything in here for those. That's got to be like a play on The Shining. It's got to be.
Wow.
It's got to be the adult.
This man. I'm glad I get to pick next week. Just saying. Thanks for joining us. We love this challenge, so please leave us comments. We love to hear what your thoughts are. And let us know if there's anything you'd like us to watch or review. I've already had some suggestions. Thanks, Shannon. And
Jen might be playing some video games here pretty soon on this channel.
Corey's
just
down. Just saying. We're good. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.